My daughter did not call me old. She was smarter than that. She sat at my own dinner table, held my wife's hand, and said I was not safe handling pressure anymore. By dessert, my wife was watching my fork hand shake. By Friday night, I knew why Jennifer needed me doubted. She did not want me helped. She wanted me moved. My name is Tom Ashford. I was 59 years old then, and I had been running Ashford Landscaping in Bend, Oregon for more than 3 decades. We were not fancy. We cut grass, fixed irrigation, built retaining walls, cleaned commercial lots, and kept enough promises that people kept calling us back. That was the whole trick. Show up, do the work, send a fair bill, answer the phone when something breaks. My father taught me that before he died. He had stood beside our first truck, an old Ford with crooked green lettering on the door, and put his palm flat on the hood like he was holding the future in place. I kept that photo on a shelf behind my desk for years. Clients saw it. Employees saw it. My daughter saw it every workday. Jennifer had grown up under that sign. That is why what she did took the air out of me in a way a stranger never could. Before I go further, get comfortable and ask yourself something. If your own child used a gentle voice to make everyone watch you like you were falling apart, would you fight loud, or would you wait until the room showed you who still trusted you? I learned the answer the hard way. It started with dinner. Linda had made roast chicken, potatoes, and a salad she barely touched. My wife and I had been married 34 years. She knew when I was carrying work home in my shoulders, and I knew when she was trying to make a house feel normal by wiping the same counter twice. Jennifer and Chad came over without much warning. Linda said Jennifer had asked if they could stop by, and Linda had said yes because mothers believe in tables longer than they should. I did not blame her for that. Jennifer came in with a grocery store pie and a bottle of wine. She hugged Linda first, then me. Her arm stayed around my shoulders just long enough for Linda to see. "Love you, Dad," she whispered. "I know," I said. She pulled back like the answer had hurt her. That was the first move of the night, and I missed it. Chad stood behind her with his real estate smile. White teeth, easy handshake, eyes moving around the room like he was pricing it. He had married Jennifer 5 years earlier. I never liked him much, but I had never had a clean reason to dislike him out loud. He made my daughter laugh. For a father, that buys a man more credit than he deserves. Dinner began too normal. Jennifer asked Linda about church. Chad complimented the trim I had fixed near the back door. Jennifer asked me whether the North Crew had finished a job out by Juniper Ridge. Small questions, soft ones, the kind that look harmless until you notice they are all measuring you. Halfway through the meal, Jennifer set her fork down and looked at me with the face she used when a client was late paying but she wanted to sound kind. "Dad, have you been sleeping?" Linda looked up. I kept cutting my chicken. "Enough." Jennifer gave a small sad smile. "That is not really an answer." "It is the one I have." Chad looked down at his plate like a man pretending not to be part of something he had rehearsed. Jennifer reached across the table and put her hand over Linda's. "I only ask because stress can do strange things to people. Families miss signs because nobody wants to say the hard thing." There it was, the hard thing. I looked at my daughter. She had clean nails, calm eyes, and a voice gentle enough to make cruelty sound like nursing. "What signs?" I asked. She sighed like I had disappointed her by making her continue. Forgetting appointments, getting defensive, confusion about money, pulling away. Acting like everyone is against you when people are only trying to help. Linda's hand stiffened under hers. That hurt more than Jennifer's words. My wife did not believe the whole thing. I could see that. But the question had entered her. Once a question like that gets into a marriage, it starts checking drawers. Chad leaned back. "Nobody is attacking you, Tom." I looked at him. He looked away first. Jennifer kept her hand on Linda's. "Mom, I know this is hard, but pretending everything is fine does not help anybody." "Mom, not Linda, not my wife. Mom." She had put me on one side of the table and placed herself beside my wife on the other. She did it with one word. I almost threw my napkin down. I almost told Chad to get his salesman's mouth out of my kitchen. I almost told Jennifer that if she had a concern about me, she could bring it to me before performing it over roast chicken, but I saw her waiting. She wanted the fork to hit the plate. She wanted the old man angry while the loving daughter stayed soft. She wanted Linda to remember my volume instead of her accusation, so I picked up my fork again. And I ate. That was the loneliest meal I ever had in my own house. After dinner, Jennifer helped Linda with dishes. Chad wandered into the living room and studied our family photos like he expected one of them to become available. I stayed at the table, not because I was tired, but because if I stood up, I might walk out of my own house. At the door, Jennifer hugged Linda. Then she hugged me. This time, I did not put my arms around her. She felt it. "I am just worried," she said, loud enough for Linda. I looked past her at Chad, who was already halfway onto the porch. "I know you are," I said. For half a second, the mask slipped. She was not worried, she was furious. Then the daughter face came back and she walked out into the cold. I closed the door. Linda stood behind me in the hall. "Tom," she said. I raised one hand, not sharp, just enough. "I cannot do this right now." Then I went out the back door and stood on the patio under a sky with no mercy in it. The next morning, my brother Mike called before the office coffee finished brewing. Mike and I did not call that early unless somebody was dead, bleeding, or needed a trailer pulled out of mud. I had one hand on a stack of cruise sheets and the other around a coffee mug. Trucks were warming outside. A tailgate slammed. Somebody laughed near the fuel tank. Normal morning. Normal noises. Then Mike said, "Tom, is everything okay with the business?" I set the mug down. "What do you mean?" He breathed once through his nose. I knew that sound. Mike choosing words was never a good sign. "Jennifer told Mom you have been missing payments and losing accounts. She said you are under more pressure than you can handle." There was that word again. Pressure. Not old, not confused, at least not in the first sentence. Jennifer was too careful now. Pressure sounded compassionate. Pressure made the person repeating it feel decent. "When did she say this?" I asked. "Mom mentioned it last night. Said Jennifer was scared. You were hiding how bad things had gotten." "Hiding?" I did not like the way it sounded, Mike said. "What way was that?" He paused, like she was preparing us. That landed harder than the rest, preparing them. I looked through the glass wall at Jennifer's empty desk. Her framed beach photo with Chad sat beside the monitor. Both of them tan, smiling, sunglasses on. A little too posed, but that was their way. "You believe it?" I asked. "I called you, didn't I?" That was Mike, not sentimental, useful. "No missing payments," I said. "You checked." "I know my own business." "Check anyway." I hated that. I hated him for saying it and loved him for saying it. After we hung up, I opened the accounting program. Jennifer had her login. I had mine. She handled invoices because I trusted her, not because I couldn't. I still reviewed accounts. I knew which vendors liked checks, which clients complained before they paid, and which mower sounded expensive before it broke. Vendor payments, current, payroll, clean, insurance, fuel, nursery balance, equipment lease. All clean. Dale Parsons, our biggest commercial maintenance account that season, had not canceled anything. His renewal was sitting in the queue, waiting on one final note from me. The books did not make me feel better. They took away the gentle explanation. A mistake can be forgiven. Concern can be clumsy and still come from love. But a clean account against a dirty rumor leaves a man with only one question. Why? Jennifer came in at 9 with a paper coffee cup, a cream sweater, and the calm face of a woman who had slept just fine. "Morning, Dad." "Morning." She started her computer, checked messages, and glanced toward my office. "You okay? You look tired." There it was again, not enough to accuse, just enough to add thread to the net. "I am fine," I said. She held my eyes a second longer than normal, then smiled. "Okay." That whole day became a test I had not agreed to take. If I was quiet, I was hiding something. If I was short, I was defensive. If I forgot a name, it would become evidence. If I remembered everything, Jennifer could say I was trying too hard. Rumors like that do not need proof. They need repetition. By noon, my mother had left a voicemail. She sounded casual in the way only mothers sound when they are trying not to sound terrified. "Just calling to hear your voice, honey." I did not call back. I am not proud of that. But if I had heard her ask whether her oldest son was still himself, I might have said something I could not take back. Around 4, Derek came into my office. Derek was my best foreman, 6 years with me, built like a fence post and twice as useful. If a trailer latch was loose, he fixed it before clock-in because it bothered him. He stood in my doorway with his cap in his hands. That told me before he did. "Boss, I need to talk to you." I leaned back. "All right." He looked through the glass toward Jennifer's desk, then back at me. "I got an offer from High Desert Grounds." That name scraped. "You taking it?" He rubbed the bill of his cap. "I think I have to." I kept my face still. "You have to." "Jennifer said there might be changes here. Said you were considering a sale or stepping back. I got a mortgage, Tom. I cannot wait for the ground to move under me." Jennifer did not look up from her desk. Not once. That was when anger got past my ribs, not loud anger, the cold kind, the kind that remembers where every tool is hanging. "Did she say I told her that?" I asked. Derek swallowed. "She said it was sensitive." Sensitive? There are words people use when they want to lie to wear a tie. I could have called her in right then. I could have made Derek repeat it with her standing 5 feet away. I did not. Maybe that was mercy. Maybe it was pride. Maybe I still wanted my daughter to choose the door out before I locked one behind her. "You have been good to this company," I told Derek. His face tightened. "You have been good to me." "Then I am sorry we got here." He nodded once, ashamed of something that was not his fault. That hurt too. When he left, I watched the dust settle in the empty square where his toolbox had been. One clean rectangle on a dirty floor. That was Jennifer's first visible damage. No broken window, no stolen check. Just a loyal man gone because my daughter had moved fear through the yard. I walked into the outer office after he drove away. Jennifer was typing. "Derek resigned," I said. She looked up slowly. "I heard." "You told him I was selling?" "No, I told him there might be changes." "What changes?" She folded her hands on the desk. "Dad, you cannot work forever." I looked at her. She looked back, daughter face gone now, office face in its place. "Do you hear yourself?" I asked. "I do," she said. "That is why I am worried." There it was again. Worried. The cleanest dirty word in her mouth. "If you have concerns about me," I said, "you bring them to me, not my mother, not my wife, not my foreman, not my clients." Her eyes changed when I said clients, just a flicker, but I saw it. "Which client called?" she asked. I had not said one did. That was her first mistake. "Dale Parsons," I said. She sat back. "Dale calls about everything. He asked whether Ashford Landscaping would be under new management." People ask things. Not until someone gives them a reason. She stood, taking her folder with her like it was armor. "Dad, you are coming at me like I did something wrong." "Did you?" For 1 second my daughter almost answered honestly. I saw it pass over her face. Then Chad's language came back. "I am trying to protect the family." There are sentences that close a door. That one did. I called Mike that evening from the shop. He answered with, "You found something." I looked at Derek's empty space. "I found out she is not done." He listened while I told him about Derek, Dale, and dinner. Mike did not interrupt much. That was how I knew he was taking it seriously. When I finished, he said, "Tom, do not let her make you defend your own mind." I closed my eyes. That was exactly what she had been doing. She had moved the fight from facts to fog. Every answer I gave made more fog. "I am going to talk to her," I said. "When?" "Tonight." "You want me there?" "No." "You sure?" "For this, yes." There are some conversations a father has to offer his daughter alone, even when she has already dragged the whole family into it. Maybe that was foolish. Maybe that was the last bit of fatherhood in me refusing to die on schedule. Jennifer lived on the west side of Bend in a newer house than I had owned at her age. Tall windows, pale stone by the entry little maple tree in the front yard planted by a contractor and watered by a timer. Chad's truck was not in the driveway. That helped. She answered the door in jeans and a gray sweater, hair down, no office armor. For one strange second she looked 12 again, the girl who used to sit on the porch steps with a popsicle while I washed the truck. Then her eyes sharpened. "Dad, I need to talk to you." She looked past me. "Chad is not home." "Good." Wrong word, her mouth tightened. "Come in." Her kitchen smelled like garlic and warm bread. A glass of wine sat near the stove, dishes in the sink, mail on the counter. A life sitting there like nothing ugly could happen beside it. I did not sit. That bothered her. "Mike called me," I said. Her face moved through 3 rooms in 1 second. Surprise, calculation, concern. "About what?" "You know what." "I really do not." "You told Mom I was missing payments and losing accounts. You told Linda I was not handling pressure. You told Derek the company might change hands. You told Dale I might be stepping back." She looked toward the sink. "Okay." Not denial, okay. That word did more damage than a shout. "Okay," I said. She turned back. "I talk to people because I am worried." "About what?" "You." "What about me?" "You do not delegate. You work like you are 30. You get irritated when people ask simple questions. You make every concern into an attack." I almost answered too fast. I stopped myself. There is a type of argument that is not built to be won. It is built to tire you out until you look like the person they described. So I went still. Jennifer filled the silence. "Last month you missed lunch with me." I was standing in a trench with a broken main line and 3 tenants yelling about water. "You forgot." "I worked." See, that is what I mean. You always have an explanation. I looked at my daughter across her kitchen island. She knew where to press. Family does. "Why did you not come to me first?" I asked. She blinked. "I tried." "No." "I did in small ways. Asking if I was tired after you told people I was not safe." "Do not twist it." "I am asking you to stop," I said. "Tell your mother you overstated it. Tell Linda you scared her without reason. Tell Derek the company is not selling. Tell Dale any transition talk was yours, not mine. Do that, and we handle the rest inside the office." For the first time she looked truly angry, not worried, not careful. "Angry? You want me to embarrass myself because you cannot stand losing control." I took that one without moving. She had never spoken to me like that, not even as a teenager. "Is that your answer?" She looked toward the dark window over the sink. Her reflection in the glass looked older than she was. When she turned back, the soft voice had returned. "Dad," she said, "you are making it very hard for people to help you." That was not as ugly as the version I expected. It was worse in a way because it was rehearsed. I looked at Chad's keys in the bowl by the back door. A little silver key ring, a dealership tag, a fob for a truck he still owed money on. Beside it sat a business card from Northline Property Group. I knew Northline. Everyone in town who owned a commercial parcel knew Northline. They were one of those companies that called land a sleeping asset and men like me an obstacle without using either word in public. The card had a handwritten note on the back. "Call R about Ashford parcel." Jennifer saw me look. She moved before I did, sliding the card under a stack of mail with 2 fingers. Second mistake. I did not reach for it. I did not need to. I had seen enough to know the shape of the hole. "One last chance," I said. Her eyes narrowed. "Do not threaten me in my house. Then stop dragging knives through mine." That line hit her. Pain, maybe, or insult. I could not tell any more. I left before I said something I would have to live with. In the truck, my hands were steady on the wheel. That bothered me more than shaking would have. A man expects betrayal to make him tremble. Sometimes it only makes him quiet enough to hear what is left. What was left was this. My daughter had been given a door out, and she had locked it from her side. The next morning I went to the office before dawn. Bend was still dark. the streets belonging to delivery trucks, bakers, and men who could not sleep. I parked by the gate and sat with the engine running, looking at the Ashford Landscaping sign. For 31 years, that sign meant work to me, not legacy, not pride, not all the shiny words people use when they want to sound bigger than they are. Work. That morning, I understood Jennifer had seen something I had not. The company was not just equipment and accounts. It was trust. Trust is easier to damage than a mower. You can fix steel. You can reseed burned grass. You can replace a cracked irrigation line and wait for water to find the right path again. But once people wonder if the man in charge still knows his own name, every normal problem becomes a symptom. A missed call becomes decline. A changed schedule becomes proof. A tired face becomes evidence. I went inside and turned on the lights. Jennifer's desk was dark. Mine had Derek's route crossed out and rewritten by hand. That line through his name bothered me. I opened the accounting records and printed a clean summary. Not because I thought paper would save me. Paper rarely saves anything by itself. But I wanted the boring truth in the room when the colorful lie started dancing. Then I called Regina Bell. Regina worked at the title company we had used for years. She was not a friend exactly, but she had watched me sign enough papers that she knew my coffee order and the way I read every page even when people wanted me to hurry. She answered after the second ring. "Tom Ashford, you are either buying land or saving yourself from somebody who is." That was Regina, dry as August dirt. "Maybe the second one," I said. She went quiet. "Tell me what you need." I told her I needed to understand whether Northline Property Group had made an inquiry on my commercial lot and whether the name attached to it was Chad Hallbrook. Regina exhaled. "I was wondering when you would call." My hand tightened around the phone. "Why?" "Because it felt sideways." "Sideways how?" They asked whether the owner might be under family transition pressure. That is not normal buyer language. That is somebody fishing for weakness. There are moments when anger becomes useful, not clean, useful. "Can you say that in a room?" I asked. "Depends on the room." "My office, speakerphone, family present. I do not need private details. I need you to confirm whether an inquiry existed before my daughter started telling people I was unstable." Regina did not answer right away. I respected that. People who know the weight of a sentence should take a second before lifting it. "I can confirm what was sent and when it came through," she said. "I can confirm the Northline contact and Chad's name as the referring agent. I cannot say motive." "I can handle motive." "Tom." "Yeah. If this is family, bring a witness." "If you were in my place right there, would you still give your daughter one more private chance? Or would you put the lie in front of witnesses before it took one more person from you?" "I am." "Bring two." So I did. I called Mike first. "I need you at my office Friday evening." He did not ask why. "Who else?" "Linda, Jennifer, Chad." He was quiet long enough for the office heater to kick on. "She is going to say I misunderstood." "Then tell her what you heard." "She is going to say I am taking your side." "Are you?" "No," he said. "I am taking the side of what she said." "That is all I need." Then I called Linda. That was harder. She answered carefully, like my voice might tell her which husband she was talking to. "Tom, I need you at the office Friday night." "What kind of meeting?" "The kind where the truth comes out." She did not like that. I could hear it. That sounds serious. It was not the first word she thought. "Say what you mean," I said. She breathed in. "It sounds like a trap." I looked at the folder on my desk. I gave Jennifer a door. "Tom." She chose not to use it. "She is our daughter." "She is my daughter too." That stopped her. I hated that I had to say it. I hated that she needed to hear it. Love can become a weapon from both sides. Jennifer used it to make Linda doubt me. Linda used it without meaning to ask me to absorb the damage quietly because the person doing it had our blood. I could not do that anymore. "Be there at 7, I said. Please. She agreed, but the yes came out like it cost her. It did. For the next 2 days I worked because work was the only honest thing around me. I split Derek's route between Lewis and Marco. I called Dale Parsons myself and told him any talk of transition had not come from me. He sounded embarrassed, which told me the rumor had gone farther than Jennifer would admit. "Tom," he said, "I did not want to pry." "You did not." Jennifer sounded concerned. "She is good at that." There was a pause. "Are we all right?" "The renewal is ready if you still want good work, and too many irrigation opinions." He laughed because he was relieved I sounded like myself. That was another gift Jennifer had stolen from me. I had to perform normal so people would stop testing it. That afternoon, Lewis found me clearing a drainage trench behind the shop. "Boss, I can get somebody on that." "I have got it." The trench was half full of pine needles, mud, and old gravel. Simple job, dirty and clear. You put the shovel in, lifted out what did not belong, and kept going until water could move again. By the time I finished, 2 crew guys had found reasons to pass near the fence. One asked about fuel cards. Another asked where to put extra edging. They did not need me for either thing. They were checking. I let them. A man can give speeches all day and still not settle a crew. Sometimes they need to see him work. Jennifer arrived at 9:16 with coffee and a long coat. She saw me by the trench and came over carefully, staying out of the mud. "Dad, we need to talk about the other night." "No." Her face tightened. "No. Not here." She glanced around the yard. Men were watching without watching. You cannot show up at my house, accuse me, and then refuse to talk. I leaned on the shovel handle. I am choosing where. For the first time, uncertainty crossed her face. Only a flash, then it was gone. That sounds ominous. It sounds scheduled. Scheduled for what? Friday, 7, my office. Her eyes sharpened. Who is coming? You, Chad, your mother, Mike. She laughed once. So it is an ambush. No, it is a room where everyone hears the same thing at the same time. Dad, listen to yourself. There it was again, the mirror trick. I am done listening to myself through your mouth, I said. She looked like I had slapped her. I had not. I had only stopped handing her my face to rearrange. Friday evening came slow. By 6 the yard was empty. I locked the front gate but left the office door open. The place looked different after hours. Desks quiet, phones dark, trucks lined up outside like tired horses. The framed photo of my father and me sat on my desk, not the shelf. I wanted it where I could see it. The folder sat beside it. Clean accounts. Dale's signed renewal. Derek's written resignation. Regina's number on a sticky note. It looked thin. That bothered me. A thin folder against a family. 3 minutes before 7, Mike came in wearing a jacket he only wore to funerals and bank appointments. You all right? He asked. No. He nodded. Good answer. Linda arrived next. Dark sweater, small earrings, purse held in both hands. She looked at Mike, then at me, then at the folder. Her eyes stopped on my father's photo. She knew why it was there. Jennifer and Chad arrived exactly at 7:02. Chad laughed in the outer office before I saw him. Too loud, a man trying to tell the room he had not been called there to bleed. Jennifer walked in first with a folder of her own. That almost made me smile, almost. What is this? She asked. Sit down. Dad. Sit down, Jenny. She flinched at Jenny. I still used it sometimes, but not at work. She sat beside Chad across from the desk. Chad sat slower, still trying to look relaxed. His knee bounced twice before he stopped it with his hand. I closed the office door. The click was small, but it changed the room. Jennifer looked at Linda first. Smart. She knew where the soft ground was. Mom, before this goes anywhere, I want to say I am sorry you are being put in the middle. Linda's face tightened. Jennifer turned to Mike. And Uncle Mike, I do not know what Dad told you, but this has gotten out of hand. Mike looked down at his hands. Good. His reluctance made him more honest than anger would have. Jennifer faced me. If this is about what I said, I was worried. I am worried. We all are. No, I said. She blinked. No. We are not starting with your concern. Her face changed. Chad leaned forward. Tom, maybe everyone should take a breath. I looked at him. He leaned back. Jennifer opened her folder. Dad, this is exactly what I mean. You locked the gate. You called a secret meeting. You brought Uncle Mike like a witness. This does not look normal. Linda looked at me. There it was, Jennifer's first move, the meeting itself as proof. I put one hand on the folder. You told your grandmother I was missing payments. Jennifer sighed. I said I was worried there might be financial confusion. You told your mother I was not safe handling pressure. I said stress can make people miss things. You told Derek I was selling. I told Derek any responsible employee should think about stability. You told Dale Parsons I was stepping back. I told a client there could be a transition someday. Based on what? She looked at Chad. It was quick, but it happened. Chad saw me see it. Based on reality, Jennifer said. Nobody works forever. You could have said that to me. I tried. No, you performed it around me. That landed. Mike looked up. Linda's eyes went to Jennifer. Jennifer leaned back. This is not fair. No, I said, it is not. I opened the folder and took out the clean account summary. I laid it on the desk, turned toward Jennifer, but I did not slide it across. Every vendor is paid. Payroll is clean. Dale renewed. There are no missing payments, no lost accounts, no hidden financial mess. Jennifer barely glanced at the pages. That told Linda more than the papers did. A daughter truly worried would breathe. Jennifer reached for another knife. Records do not always show the full picture. The room went still. Linda whispered, Jenny. Jennifer lifted her chin. I am not accusing Dad of anything. I am saying he is very good at making things look handled. I looked at my wife. Her face had gone pale, not because of the accounts, because Jennifer had not been relieved. I turned to Mike. Tell them what you heard. Jennifer's head snapped toward him. Uncle Mike, you do not have to get dragged into this. Mike closed his eyes for a second. Then he opened them and looked at her. I do not want to be here, Jenny. Her face softened. Then don't do this. I have to. You don't. Yes, he said quietly, I do. The room held that. Mike looked at Linda first, almost apologizing before he spoke. Jennifer told Mom that Tom was missing payments, losing accounts, and hiding how bad things had gotten. Mom told me. I called Tom because it sounded wrong. Jennifer's face changed piece by piece. Irritation, fear, anger, you misunderstood. Mike shook his head. I did not. You have always taken his side. That hurt him. Good, let it hurt. This was hurting everyone. I am taking the side of what you said, Mike answered. Jennifer turned to Linda. Mom, you know why I said those things. You saw him at dinner. You saw how he shut down. Linda opened her mouth, but no words came. Jennifer pushed harder. I was trying to get help before something happened. Before Dad ran the company into the ground because everyone was too scared to admit he needed to slow down. There it was, the soft voice finally showing its teeth. I looked at Chad. He had gone very still. Chad, I said. His eyes came to me. Have you or Northline Property Group made any inquiry on my commercial lot? Jennifer froze. Chad did not go white all at once. It drained slower, like the blood had to think about leaving. I do not know what you are talking about, he said. Third mistake. The best proof comes after the lie, not before. I looked at Jennifer. Do you know what I am talking about? Dad, this is paranoid. Linda flinched at that word. Jennifer saw it and tried to soften. I mean, this is exactly the kind of leap that worries me. I nodded, all right. I picked up my phone and tapped Regina's number. Chad sat forward. Who are you calling? A person who knows what came through the title office. Tom, do not put private business on speaker, he said. It is my land. Regina answered on the third ring. Tom. Regina, you are on speaker. In the room are my wife Linda, my brother Mike, my daughter Jennifer, and my son-in-law Chad Holbrook. I am asking only what you said you could confirm." "Understood." Chad stood halfway. "This is ridiculous." Mike stood too. Not fast, not threatening, just stood. Chad sat back down. I kept my eyes on Jennifer while I spoke. "Did Northline Property Group send an inquiry about the Ashford Landscaping commercial lot before my daughter began telling family and employees I was under too much pressure?" Regina paused, not because she did not know, because she knew the room was listening. "Yes," she said. "The inquiry came before the concerned conversations you described to me." Linda's hand went to her mouth. Chad said, "That is not what you think." I ignored him. Was Chad Holbrook connected to that inquiry? Regina answered carefully. His name was listed as the referring agent connected with the buyer group. Chad pointed at the phone. "That means nothing. Agents float opportunities all the time." Regina said, "Then you should not have used family transition pressure as the soft angle." Nobody moved. Even Jennifer looked at the phone. I asked, "Say that again." Regina's voice was flat. Someone representing the buyer asked whether the owner might be entering a family transition or capacity-related situation. That wording is why I remembered it. Capacity, there it was in a suit. Jennifer stared at Chad. That look told the room more than any paper could. Linda saw it. So did Mike. Chad found his salesman's voice. It was exploratory. I almost smiled. Exploratory. It was not personal. It was my land. It was a business inquiry. "Then why didn't you ask me?" He had no good answer, so Jennifer gave him one. "Because you never listen." There was the truth. Not all of it. Enough. She stood and the chair scraped hard across the floor. "You sit in that chair and act like everybody owes you patience because you built something," she said. "I have been in that office 7 years. 7 years, Dad. Do you know how many times people asked for you after I had already answered their question?" Linda whispered, "Jenny." Jennifer did not stop. "You were never going to let me have a real say. Chad saw what that lot could become. I saw it too. Something new. Something that was not just you deciding everything until you dropped dead at your desk." The room went quiet in the way rooms go quiet when everybody understands before anybody speaks. "So you made people doubt me," I said. "I made people look at the truth." "No, you made my wife watch my hands." That one hit Linda like a door closing. Jennifer's mouth opened. I did not let her take the room back. "You made my mother scared to call me. You made my brother ask whether I knew my own business. You made Derek quit. You made Dale ask if he should trust a company he has trusted for years." Jennifer's eyes shone, but they were angry tears. "I did not make Derek quit." "No," I said. "You loaded the fear and left it where he could find it." Chad stood again. "All right, that is enough." I looked at him. "Sit down." He did not. For 1 second I thought he might try to be bigger than he was. Then Mike shifted his weight. Chad sat. Jennifer looked at Linda. "Mom." Linda was crying now quietly. No hand over her mouth. No performance. Just tears on a face that had realized her daughter used her love as a tool. "Mom, you know I was trying to protect you too," Jennifer said. Linda shook her head once. Small, not dramatic, but final enough. "You made me afraid of my husband," Linda said. Jennifer blinked. That was the first thing that truly got through. Not the accounts, not Regina, not Mike. Linda naming the wound. Jennifer's face crumpled, then hardened to survive it. "You are all acting like I am some kind of monster, because I wanted what was best for the family." I sat down, not because I was tired, because the decision needed to come from the chair with my name on the door. "Jennifer," I said, her face tightened. "You are done at the company." Linda made a small sound, but she did not stop me. Jennifer stared. "You cannot be serious." "I am. I am your daughter. I know. You would fire your own daughter." "I just did." Chad leaned forward. Tom, think very carefully about what you are doing. I turned to him. The lot stays with Ashford Landscaping. It is not for sale, not to Northline, not through you, not through another polite little company name, not now. His jaw clenched. I looked back at Jennifer. You will come tomorrow after the crews leave and collect your personal things. Mike will be here. Linda can be here if she chooses. You will not contact clients, vendors, employees, or family members on behalf of the company again. She stared at Linda. Mom. Linda cried harder, but she did not rescue her. That finished something in Jennifer. Her mouth opened like she might say the kind of thing that cannot be unsaid. Then she closed it. She picked up her folder. Chad stood with her. At the door, Jennifer turned back. For a second, I saw the little girl in rubber boots with the hose. Then she was gone. You will regret this, she said. Maybe she meant the company, maybe she meant her. I did not answer. The outer door closed. Then the office went silent. Not peaceful, silent. Phone was still on the desk. Regina had ended the call sometime after I thanked her, though I barely remembered doing it. The account pages sat flat. Derek's resignation lay beside them. My father's photo faced the room like it had watched everything and found no joy in being right. I looked at the closed door. I had won the truth, and my daughter had walked out through it. Mike was the first to move. He came around the desk and put a hand on my shoulder, not hard, just there. You want me to stay? Linda was in the outer office, standing beside Jennifer's desk with a tissue in her hand. That detail did something to me. My wife crying beside the chair where my daughter used to sit. No, I said. Mike nodded. I am sorry. You told the truth. Doesn't feel like enough. It isn't. He had no argument for that. After Mike left, Linda came back in. Her purse was still clutched in both hands like she had forgotten she could set it down. Tom, she said. I waited. She looked at the desk, the folder, the phone, the photo of my father and me. Then she looked at the doorway. I did not know. I believed her. That should have made it easier. It did not. I know, I said. She sounded so scared. I know. She sounded like she was trying to help. I know. Linda pressed the tissue to her mouth. I let her make me look at you like that. That was the first real apology of the night. Not the word sorry, something better. She named the wound. I leaned back in the chair. I would have looked too, I said. She shook her head. No. Yes, I said. If our daughter came to me and said something was wrong with you, I would have looked. Linda's face folded. That was mercy, and it cost me something. She came around the desk. For a moment I thought she might hug me. She did not. Maybe she knew I could not carry that right then. Instead, she put one hand on the back of my chair. What happens now? The company opens tomorrow. That is not what I meant. I know. But it was all I had. The next day, Jennifer came after the crews left. Mike stood by the outer door. Linda waited in my office, not because I asked her to, but because she said she wanted to see this through. Jennifer did not bring Chad. That surprised me. She walked in with a cardboard box and a face that had decided tears were beneath it. She packed her framed beach photo, a mug that said Boss Lady, 2 sweaters from the coat hook, a jar of pens, and the little ceramic frog my mother had given her when she first started answering phones. The frog almost broke me, not because it mattered, because everything matters when a room is being emptied. She did not speak for 10 minutes. Then she held up the frog. Grandma gave me this. I know. Should I give it back? No. Her mouth moved. Does she know? She knows enough. Did you tell her everything? No. That seemed to surprise her. Why not? Because she is 82, and she does not need to watch another person she loves become a battlefield. Jennifer looked away first. Good. There was still something human in there then. She put the frog in the box. At the door, she stopped. Did you ever plan to let me run it? I looked at her. That question was the closest thing to an honest one she had asked in a week. I plan to let you earn it. She laughed once, bitter. That is not an answer. It is the only one I have. Her eyes filled again. This time the tears looked younger. I earned more than you gave me. There it was, the wound under the knife. Not Chad, not the lot, not even the company. Jennifer believed I had kept her outside the room of her own life. Maybe I had, not in the way she said, not enough to excuse what she did, but enough for the truth to have a splinter in it. I thought of all the times a client asked for me after Jennifer had already handled the question. All the times I stepped in because it was faster. All the times I said I'll take care of it and meant love while she heard dismissal. That did not make her right. It made the damage older than the weak. Maybe I should have seen that sooner, I said. She looked at me then, not victorious, suspicious. But you used it to hurt people, I said. You used it to scare your mother. You used it to help Chad put a hand on my land. You used it to make the men in that yard wonder whose word counted. Her face closed. So that is it. For the office, yes. For us. There was the question I did not want. Linda held her breath in the other room. I knew she did because I had been married to her for 34 years. I do not know, I said. Jennifer nodded like she hated that answer but believed it more than a clean one. She picked up the box. Mike opened the door for her. She did not thank him. When she walked out, she took the smell of her hand lotion with her, something floral and sharp. It lingered in the office after her car left. For the next few weeks, I became two men. One ran Ashford Landscaping. The other learned where grief hides during business hours. I hired an office manager named Carla who had worked 20 years for a plumbing contractor and did not care about anyone's family drama unless it affected a receipt. She reorganized Jennifer's desk in one afternoon and asked me 3 times where things belonged until I finally said, "Wherever you can find them again." Finally, she said, a useful answer. I liked her immediately. Derek did not come back. I called once. He answered. I told him he had a place if he wanted it. He said, "I appreciate that, boss, but I already gave my word." That hurt because I respected it. Then give them good work, I said. Always. We hung up like men do when there is too much to say and none of it can fix anything. Dale renewed for 2 years. Lewis stepped up better than I expected. Marco made one scheduling mess bad enough that Carla put sticky notes on his truck window, but we survived it. Work continued. That is the mercy and cruelty of work. It continues. Home was harder. Linda and I moved carefully around each other at first. Not cold. Careful. She had not betrayed me the way Jennifer had. I knew that. But knowing is not the same as not hurting. Sometimes I would catch her watching me reach for my keys, then she would look away fast, ashamed. Sometimes she would ask a normal question too gently and I would hear Jennifer inside it. Neither of us liked the people we became for a while. One Sunday after church, Linda came into the garage where I was pretending to fix a shelf that did not need fixing. I called Jennifer, she said. The screwdriver stopped in my hand. Okay. She cried. I nodded. She also blamed Chad for more than she should. I looked at the shelf. That sounded like Jennifer. Are they still together? For now. Of course. Linda stepped closer. I told her I loved her. You should. I told her she could come to dinner if she came without Chad and without excuses. The screwdriver felt heavy. What did she say? She said she would think about it. I nodded again. Linda touched the workbench. Are you angry? Yes. She closed her eyes, at me. I looked at my wife, the woman who had dried dishes beside me when we had no money, the woman who had raised Jennifer while I built walls and fixed sprinklers and came home smelling like fertilizer, the woman who had looked at my hands because our daughter taught her to be afraid. Sometimes, I said, she accepted it. That was one of the bravest things she ever did for me. I am angry at me too, she said. I put the screwdriver down. I do not want us to spend the rest of our marriage punishing each other for what she did. Linda's eyes filled. I do not either. I took her hand then, not because everything was fixed, because some things are only held together by choosing the next honest gesture. Jennifer did come to dinner 3 months later. Alone, she looked thinner, no blazer, no folder, no Chad's hand at her back. She stood on the porch holding nothing, which was the first decent thing she had done in a while. Linda opened the door. They hugged, and Jennifer cried into her mother's shoulder like a child who had walked too far pretending she knew the way. I stayed in the kitchen, not hiding, waiting. When Jennifer came in, she stopped by the table. "Hi, Dad." "Jenny." That did it. Her face changed. She sat across from me. For a while, nobody talked about the company. Linda passed bread. I poured water. The house did not become easy, but it became possible. After dinner, Jennifer helped with dishes. This time, I did not sit at the table and let the room happen around me. I stood beside her at the sink. For a few minutes, the only sound was water and plates. Then she said, "Chad and I are separating." I looked at the window over the sink, where our reflections stood side by side but not touching. "I am sorry," I said. "Are you?" "For you, not for him." She almost smiled. Almost. "He told me the lot was just an opportunity," she said. "He said I made it about you because I had issues with you." "Did you believe him?" "I wanted to." That was the first answer that sounded clean. She put a plate in the rack. "I was angry before Chad," she said. "I know." "Do you?" I dried a glass slowly. "I know more now than I did." She nodded. "That is not an apology." "No," I said. "It is the ground before one." She looked at me then. I set the glass down. "I should have made more room for you at work if I wanted you to grow there. I should have let clients hear you finish answers. I should have stopped stepping in because it was faster." Her mouth trembled. "But you do not get to use that to call me unsafe in my own house," I said. "You do not get to scare your mother. You do not get to help your husband circle my land. You do not get to turn love into a witness statement." She cried without covering her face. "I know." I wanted that to fix more than it did. It fixed something, not enough. Maybe enough for that sink. "Can I ever come back?" she asked. There it was, the question I had been afraid she would ask. I looked at the dishes, the water, the window, the reflection of a father and daughter standing in the same room with a cracked thing between them. "Not to the company," I said. She closed her eyes. "Not now," I added. Her eyes opened. I did not say someday. I did not say never. Some words are too big when trust is still limping. She nodded. "Okay." That was all. After she left that night, Linda asked if I felt better. I thought about lying because the answer was complicated and we were both tired. "No," I said. Linda nodded. "Me neither." Then she leaned against my shoulder and I let her. The next morning I went to the office before sunrise. The yard was quiet. No crew yet. No phones. No Jennifer at the outer desk. Carla had left a note on the keyboard telling me not to approve mulch changes without checking the updated supplier sheet. I laughed because she had underlined "not" twice. The office was becoming a different place. Not better, different. I sat at my desk and looked at my father's photo. Then my eyes moved to the shelf behind it. Jennifer at 8 years old. Green garden hose in both hands. Rubber boots too big for her feet. Water spraying sideways because she could not control the pressure. Laughing so hard her whole face disappeared into joy. That picture had sat in my office for years. Clients had seen it. Employees had seen it. Jennifer had seen it every day and never said much about it. Maybe she hated it. Maybe to her it was one more sign that I saw her as a child with a hose instead of a woman who knew the office. Maybe. But that morning I was too tired to keep building reasons for her. I picked up the frame. The glass was cool. There was a tiny chip in one corner from when it fell during our move into this office. I had meant to replace it and never did. I looked at that laughing little girl. Then I opened the desk drawer, slowly. I placed the photo inside, face down. I did not shove it under papers. I did not hide it in the back. I set it down gently, right where I could reach it. Then I left the drawer open. That was important. Closed would have been easier. Open was honest. A few minutes later, the first truck started outside, then another. The yard woke up in pieces. Gravel under tires, a backup beep, Lewis laughing at something by the fuel tank, Carla's key in the front door. Work had come again whether we were ready for it or not. I stood, picked up my keys, and looked once more at the open drawer. Tell me honestly, if your child betrayed you that way but came back without the person who helped them do it, would you leave the drawer open or would you close it for good? I still do not know what the right answer is. I only know what I did. I went outside. The Ashford Landscaping sign looked the same in the morning light. Same green letters, same old post, same work waiting behind it. Lewis saw me and lifted one hand. Not big, just a wave. I lifted mine back. Then I climbed into the truck, shut the door, and let the engine turn over. The work continues.